Anytime you record a new piece of content, you should always have two goals in mind. One, getting the piece of content consumed, and two, making sure that whoever consumed it takes the next step to book a call. And in today's video, I want to take you through a secret type of email automation that I've been using for years that we call the bear trap email that absolutely crushes it with getting people who consume your content to actually go in and book a call and become a customer. When I tell you these specific bear trap emails get 50 to 80% open rates and anywhere from 15 to even 30% click-through rates, you know you need to stick around and find out how you can take your content that you're producing and actually turn it into clicks and booked calls in your business. If you're new to the channel, welcome to my backyard. That's Corazon. She's helping out in the video. And all we talk about on this channel is hitting 100K months or slamming on a couple of extra six figures a month into your business by using things like paid media, earned media, and some of these conversion systems and tricks like the one I'm going to talk to you about in this video today. Now, a quick word of warning, we don't make any income claims or promises on this channel. All that we're going to talk to you about is just lessons that we've learned ourselves or lessons that we're passing down from some of the clients that we work with inside of our Media Firestorm product. We did some research online and it looks like less than 3% of all US businesses ever even make it to $1 million a year, let alone 100K a month or even a couple of multi six figures a month in terms of a business. Result like that is pretty unlikely to begin with. And so take everything we say with a pinch of salt because we're just here to educate and entertain. If you're ready, I'm stoked to dive into the episode. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Make sure you smash that like button and let's jump into the episode. So chances are coming into this video, you probably already know the importance of putting out content. You know, maybe you're putting out YouTube episodes like me on this channel. Maybe you're doing podcast episodes, speaking on other people's shows. But whatever type of content that you're putting out there online, usually you're going to be trying to do two important goals. Number one, you're going to try and get people to consume that content. And number two, you're going to try and get people to buy whatever it is that you're selling on the back end. With the email automation that I'm going to show you today, you're actually going to find out a way that you can do both without having to prioritize one or the other. And we've actually found this to be an incredibly versatile and effective way that you can get people that are consuming your content to actually become customers and get targeted, customized emails, literally slapping them in the ankle like a bear trap or standing on a landmine that's actually going to get them to want to book a call right there and then as they're watching the video. So just to be really clear, in this video, we're not going to give you any examples of the emails that are right, the exact automations that we talk about. You know, we leave all of that stuff for our Media Firestorm program where you can see some of examples of these types, the actual automations itself. But, you know, even just me talking about this on this video, you're going to get enough knowledge and information to be able to go deploy something like this. We just leave some of the really great stuff back for our clients that are inside of the program. So let me first explain the concept of a bear trap email. So imagine right now you're coming here and you're putting out a couple of podcast episodes every single week. And every single week, you want people to consume those podcast episodes, but at the same time, you want to also make sure that you're actually selling people into your core offer. So what do? Well, one of my favorite ways to promote anything that I'm doing is email copywriting. If you didn't know, daily emails are a huge factor of our business. It's how we also help our clients become incredibly profitable without really having to spend any extra money on marketing. And it's also one of the best ways that you can get people to come in and consume your content after you've created it. Whether I record a YouTube video like this or I do a podcast interview, one of the very first things I do when that episode gets published is I go and send an email to my list telling them, hey, I just dropped this episode, you should go check it out. Now, usually if you go and promote an episode, a lot of people are going to do is they're going to go write a really long email where they share some information about what they talked about, maybe a little bit of a summary, and then they're going to do a call to action for you to go to check out that episode. Now, what you typically find with these types of emails is that they're really just a content email where there's no call to action and there's no sales promise inside. So you kind of miss out on an opportunity when you send one of these types of emails to be selling people into your offer or your service. A lot of people just chalk that up as a missed opportunity. They're like, well, I would rather people consume my content because if I get them to do that, they're going to be more likely to transact in the future. But I'm here to tell you, thanks to the amazing individuals at Bear Trap HQ, that you don't have to compromise. You can actually send out these content emails and then immediately actually get one of these bear trap emails coming out at the same time. So let me first just explain the concept of how this type of email works. So you create your piece of content and then you're going to go write an email that drives people to go into that content. Inside of that email, usually the way that this looks for me is that I'll write, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. I'm going to put the screenshot of my video, and I'm going to make sure there's a link that's embedded into that picture of the video. I know it looks like a play button. You can't actually do a play button in email, but you make it look it that way so people click it and then they go into it. And then I'm usually going to just put a little bit of a hyperlink text down the bottom, basically with, click here, or it's going to say what the YouTube headline is. And then I'm going to sign off. I'm going to say, peace out. That was an email from Jamie. I hope you liked it. Now, one of the things that we do inside of the Bear Trap emails that's really good is that we want to make sure every time somebody clicks on this email that we're actually updating our email software with some kind of tag or some kind of trigger. Now, what we want to do is every time somebody clicks onto that email, we want to associate a tag with them inside of our email system. What then happens is once that tag gets added to that contact, it's actually going to fire them into a new automation, and it's actually going to send a follow-up email instantly. So picture this for a second. Maybe I send you an email at midday. At 3:30, you're starting to go through your email. You click into your email. You say, oh, Jamie did a new podcast episode. Let me go check that out. At 3:31, you click the link to go watch that YouTube video. That then fires the automation, and immediately you get a follow-up email that lands inside of your inbox. And what we've often found is that there's some really compelling subject lines that you can use for these Bear Trap emails that make people want to open that email immediately. Now, the reason that these Bear Trap emails work so well is that when you then have that secondary email that comes along, you can make that second email very high intent, you can make it very personalized, and you can also make a very direct call to action for them to take the next step. And so in email number 1, you really make the email just about the YouTube video, 100% content. You don't have to have any sales pitch. 1, they're actually at their computer reading email in that very moment. So there's a very high certainty, not only that they're going to click and read the email, but they're actually going to follow through and click again. Because remember, literally just a minute ago, they already did that. They opened an email and they clicked a link. So they are significantly more likely to take that same action again if you fire a very compelling email straight out to them. And because of the way we structure that Bear Trap email with a really compelling subject line, a hyper-relevant email, and at the same time, a clear call to action for them to take the next step, this email number 2 that gets sent out has incredible open and incredible click-through rates. As you can see, this one that we were just testing out a couple of days ago had nearly a 30% click-through rate, meaning if 100 people clicked in to watch this video, over 30 of them actually clicked a link to go and book a call. I don't know about you, but I like those numbers. 100 people clicking a video and 30 people booking a call. That sounds absolutely phenomenal. And so the click-through rate on these puppies is absolutely wild and out of this world, and it's a really powerful way that you can put a sales-based message immediately after somebody's consumed a little piece of content. Now, what's really cool about using this Bear Trap email system is it also means that we have a way that we can track how many pieces of content people are consuming inside of our email marketing software. Now, bear in mind, we can only track in the software every time somebody clicks. But every time somebody clicks one of our emails that's related to a YouTube or a podcast video, what happens is every click goes and gets registered back to the email service provider, and we add a little +1 next to a label that we call YouTube videos watched. Now, this is never going to be completely accurate. You've got the click-through rates from the email service providers to be able to factor in, and this automation that we set up in Zapier is slightly on the complicated side. Now, what's really fantastic about this is that every time somebody clicks one of your emails and opens a piece of your content, it's going to add a little +1 into that section inside of your email service provider. And so what this means is that we can get customers who book in for sales calls and even actually become a buyer, where we're actually able to see in the data how many pieces of content they've been consuming. And we have different tags here for whether it was a YouTube piece of content, a podcast piece of content, a blog piece of content, or anything else that you want to track and measure. Over time, this becomes an incredibly effective data source because not only are you sending relevant follow-up sales emails every time somebody consumes a piece of content, but we're actually also able to see how many pieces of content they're consuming. So the first part of the Bear Trap are the 2 parts of the email. Step number 1 is the content email, and step number 2 is the actual bear trap email in itself. Now, for the bear trap email, I want to give you guys some pointers and some of the best things you can do to make these bear trap emails really, really effective. One is the subject line. The subject line itself wants to be related to the video that they just clicked on. So what's really great about this is the subject line can be completely related to the video that they just clicked on. So if you just sent out a video that was related to bear trap emails, I could send a subject line that says, "What did you think of the bear trap email?" ? And so these follow-up emails are going to be very relevant, and they're going to be something that's going to be much more likely to be opened. The second thing you want to have is outside of the subject line, you want to make sure that the lead of the email, that you're actually referencing and talking about something specific from the video that you can take away and bring into the sales message. So for example, if I was doing a bear trap email about this YouTube video that I'm putting out, about bear trap emails, it could be a very meta example. And so I might talk about that secondary component in the email and then tie it into why they should be booking a call. Similarly, another angle I could take with these emails is the fact that in this YouTube video, I'm talking to you theoretically about what to do, but inside of my program, I'm going to give you examples. I'm going to help you set up the automations. And another really cool automation that we have for our Media Firestorm clients inside of this, just to give you as an example, is every time somebody clicks on a YouTube video once, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, 15 times, and 20 times, we've actually preset this email series to go out where it's going to send them a different sales message depending on how many pieces of content they've consumed. And so rather than me having to repeat this process every single week where I write a new bear trap email at the same time as a content email, I'm actually able just to set up these automations once. And then if somebody's consumed 3, 5, 10, 15, or even 20 of these YouTube episodes, it's going to automatically fire out a different kind of sales message depending on how many episodes they've consumed. Overall, what this just means is that you've got a much more comprehensive marketing system where you're able to get more throughput every time you're putting a piece of content out. So to give you a bit of a visual demonstration of what this looks like, over here, 2 times a week, every time I'm publishing a new podcast episode, I'm just going to send a content-based email that says, "Hey, here's this podcast episode I did, here's the image, you can go click that link and you can go check it out." I also have automation set up in my email service provider. In this case, I use ActiveCampaign, where when somebody has clicked one of these YouTube videos, if they've clicked it once, if they've clicked it 3 times, if they've clicked it 5 times, 10 times, 15 times, or 20 times, I have a different series of emails that's going to go out for that person in each of those scenarios. And because these specific bear trap emails are going to be going out immediately after they've clicked the content-based email, not only is it going to land in the inbox when they're in the inbox, but we're also going to make sure that the subject line is going to appeal to them. And because of that, we're going to have very high click-through rate and very high open rates on these emails specifically. Ultimately, that just means that we're going to get a lot of these people who are actually going to go through to that next step, and they're going to click to book a call. Now, to make sure that that automation works on the data side, now on top of that, we've got a Zap setup that's essentially going to figure out, well, is this the first time they've clicked on a video, or is this a second or a third time that they've clicked on the video? And it's going to go and feed back that data into ActiveCampaign to say, yep, this is the first time they've clicked it, or hey, this is the 15th time they've clicked it. And that feedback Zap is going to be kind of the engine that drives these automated sequences that go out. Now, that's the more sophisticated version that we have set up that most of our Media Firestorm clients are going to do, and maybe you can figure out how to do that yourself. But if you wanted to just have a simple way to do the bear trap email, here's how you go about doing it. 1, you're going to go and write an email that's going to tell people that you've got a new piece of content that's going out. Whether this is a podcast, a YouTube, a blog, it doesn't matter. You're just going to go out and you're going to send them that email about whatever it is that you've done. When you write that email, whenever you're getting them to click a link, you're going to make sure that you assign a tag at the same time. And you can call that tag whatever you want. You could call it bear trap tag. You could call it whatever you want. Now, whenever somebody clicks a link in that email, you want to make sure that you assign it a tag, and that's going to fire off the secondary automation that's going to send out the bear tag email. Now, very important in this step is that when you're setting up that first email, make sure you don't send it right away. You just want to set this up as a draft, assign the tag, and that's when you want to go and create the bear draft automation email. The next thing you want to do is go and set up your automatic email, and this is going to trigger when the tag is assigned to the account. Now, the next thing you're going to do is set up the Bear Trap email, and that's going to be an automated email that goes out when the tag is assigned, and that's going to trigger the automation to fire. You want to go in and write that email, make sure you like it, make sure that email's focused on selling something on the back end, and then you can finish and set that automation to be live. Important step to remember here, make sure you turn on that secondary automation before you send the first email, otherwise it's not going to work. Then you go back to the first email, you can send the broadcast out to your list, it tells everybody, hey, here's this new piece of content I've put out. They click the link, it assigns the tag, and then from there, you've got that automatic email that's going to go out. Now, these Bear Trap emails are a huge asset that you guys can use inside of your business. And a lot of the time, there are a lot of other email automations that you can be plugging in, from making sure that when somebody books in for a sales call, but ultimately doesn't show up on the calendar, or when somebody even attempts to book a call in the first place, but doesn't make it all the way through. We have a multitude of these simple email automations that we install for both ourselves and for our clients inside of Media Firestorm. Just make sure that we sweep up all of the sales opportunities and ultimately make sure that we're getting more book calls on the calendar for free and just increasing our overall return on our marketing spend to make sure that we get more results, more calls, and ultimately we make more money inside of the business. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, man, I really should have more of these automations inside of my business, why the heck am I not doing it? Maybe it'd be a good idea for you to go check out Media Firestorm down below. Not only do we help our clients get plugged into high quality traffic sources like podcasts using our top 1% podcast booking network, we also help businesses figure out where the big bottlenecks are that are stopping them doing more marketing and scaling the business. And we'll help you inside of that program to install systems like the Bear Trap email, as well as other sweep up email automations that we can plug in that are really just going to help you get better results inside of the business, as well as giving you access to things like our weekly training calls, access to all of the SOPs and trainings that I've done about these systems and other systems that we've talked about on this YouTube channel, as well as getting the chance to come to our quarterly masterminds that we do here in Costa Rica, in case you wanted to come hang out in this very spot to actually learn from other high-level businesses in the program, as well as some of the experts that we bring in to come and support the training. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Go try out our Bear Trap email, see how it works inside of your business. And if you like this video and you use this, and hey, maybe if you book some calls and you make some success, let us know down in the comments, give this video a like, and we'll see you in the next video to give you guys some more tips and tricks to help you make more money in your business.